Bill, I said to Bill, I said, let's win the canoe race. Yeah, what are you going to use for canoe? So we discussed it at the camp. But we knew that the Brophies, two Brophy boys, the champions on the St. John River and the Miramichi, Chestnuts, I built them a brand new racing canoe. Yeah, top of the knot for racing. No shoeing on the bottom, nice deal. So I said, well, I don't know. I said, anyone around hasn't got most of our canoes at the camp, there's all short canoes, you know, up to 15 strips of shoeing on them. So anyway, an old guy in there, Earl Munn, he said, I got an 18-foot canoe down. How did you never had any shoeing on? It didn't leak, maybe a little moisture came in, but after it soaked for a day or two, it swelled up the cedar, and they,
oh yeah.
And so I said, that looks all pretty good, Bill, so we'll take the canoe. So we entered the race, and there's one dugout canoe. Clayton Stewart down there had a big dugout, and a couple of guys took the dugout canoe, put it in the race, and Clayton's son was, I think it was 30-some canoes in the race. So the race started at Doaktown Bridge. So we went down, Bill and I put the canoe on the vehicle of my truck and went down to win the race and get down to Brophy, the boys. They was putting on a demonstration by the bridge at Doaktown. So we walked over and they in the canoe and just sip across that river back here, sip, and everyone big cheer and talk about. And everyone else said, nobody can beat them Brophy, look at them going. So Bill was turned around to me and he said, let's put the canoe back on the truck and get out of here. I do what, Bill? He said, Bill said, we'll never have a chance. I said, you don't think so, Bill? Bill said, no, look at that canoe, how it triangle. I said, I know. But it's 32 miles from here down to Blackville Bridge. And I said, I was talking to Mervin Green, that was Mervin's father, we got married then. I was talking to him, and he told me there's some bad bars. He said, one of them camel bar, he said, it must be pretty near a mile long. And he said, I doubt very much, this is in August, he said, I doubt very much, he said, you can find enough water to float a canoe going across camel bar. So likely you have to get out. And I said, look at the Brophy boys, Bill. I said, well, they got on their feet. Work boots clear up to there. I said, what do we get on our feet? Sneakers. We don't have to take ours off. I said, what are they doing down there, Bill? Bill said, having a smoke. Right now? Yeah. I said, both of them smoking. Now, you and I don't smoke. And I said, what are they passing around now? They're passing a little beer around. They're all having a few beer for the race. You and I don't drink. Bill said, no, that's right. I said, I think we got a pretty good chance. I think we're way better shape than they are. I said, we both got good wind, and I said, I'm contrary, won't give in, and if I don't give in, you won't give in, that's for sure. You're as contrary as I am. So anyway, we decided to go in the race. Now I said, Bill, we'll map this thing out. I said, I'll get in the stern, you get in the bow. And I said, when that shotgun goes off, don't get in the great big rush and get ahead. We got a long ways to go. I said, stay right in behind, that's the top one canoe, you stay in behind, pick out the Brophies, and get on their tail and stay there. Yeah, Bill said, yeah, he agreed with me. I knew what happened, but he agreed with me before the race started. So we get in the canoes, all lined up, they fired the old shotgun, where you went. Within 5 feet of the road down there, we was the head canoe. Bill, that big long arm of him, he just reaching up and the water was flying clear back. And I was just steering, keeping straight, and we went down the wrong channel. Just down around the turn there from the mill, 2 channels. We'd never seen, we never on that river. We hadn't a clue. The only place we ever fished down at Mercury Island, down at Blair Hunter's Camp in Blissville. Only piece of water we ever on. So anyway, I said, there, Bill, we made a break. So anyway, we get back out of that, and every canoe in the group was gone by. I said, Bill, you didn't listen to me. I said, I couldn't head you off. You just paddle, a big long iron was reaching. I said, we'll work our way up and get behind the Brophy boys before we get the camel line bar. So we did. So we could buy one canoe, another canoe. Last, the only one ahead, and they was 5 near that building over there ahead of everyone else. we get in behind them. See them get looking behind. The Brophies get looking behind. So I said, Bill said, where's Campbell Bar? And I said, I haven't got a clue. But we'll know when we get there. So they get there. They got there first, and they pulled up. And the first thing they did, they didn't want to get these nice boots all wet. Had to get out. Couldn't even not enough water to paddle. They took their boots off, and it was in their sock feet. So we come up to the bar. Bill and I on the other side of them, were 25 feet from us both. We just stepped out, picked up the canoe, like 18-foot canoe, and run the whole length of the bar. Never put her down, or never put her down once. We run the whole length. We got off the other end. They was way up, just starting to roll. The rock on their feet. We never seen them again. That was it. So we get in the canoe. We took off at a nice pace, and we've gone about 2-3 miles from Blackville. There was an older man and a woman that had a garden out next to the river. They was in their garden on the left-hand side going down. Don't ask me where, because I have no idea, but I know that. They hollered out. The lady hollered out, "Where are you boys from?" And Bill hollered in. He said, "Up the Miramichi, above Doaktown." Good. Didn't ask who we were. It's good. He said, "As long as you beat those Brophies, all we care for." That is not my big blokes. I didn't have a use for the Brophies. So anyway, we went on in. And before we got to the finish line, a couple of young fellas from Blackville area there, they got an old canoe and went up around the turn from the finish line and get in the canoe, and the big cheering up. They thought, well, the Brophies coming. And this canoe, and there was these 2 young fellas just going on, you know. And see, there wasn't nobody in the race. Then Bill and I came in, and we finished the race. We were there for quite a while for the Brophies. They came in second. So I think we got first place. I think it was $25 a piece or something like that. It wasn't very much then. And I passed for the fair going on, and a dinner pass and stuff. So we was in on the fairground, Bill and I, and run into Pat Brophy and John. That's the 2 Brophies. And Pat was the younger lad. John was the older guy. We shook hands. And Pat was getting pretty tight by then. He was, maybe John had a few drinks, but he was quite sensible anyway. He wasn't quarrelsome, but Pat was a little bit quarrelsome, you know. He looked us all over, Bill and I all over. He said, "I don't mind being beat by that tall, skinny guy there." God, he's I hate you, Bill. I'm not run there. So anyway, John said, "Shut up, Pat." He said, "We beat square and square by 2 better men." And he said, "We have to live with it." And that was it. So that was my first race in the canoe race in the Miramichi.